Will I quit my current job to open the gym? And the answer is, what's good, baby? Delaney, Wallace, the world's strongest CFO, lifting maxes, saving taxes. We go do a quick Q&A. I know there's a lot that's been happening in the gym, things with life, a lot of questions, lifting, everything. And so did a quick Q&A, figured we keep this one, simple, sweet, and to the point, and ask any questions that the gang had.
All right. First question, why didn't you compete in IPF this year?
Yeah, this was pretty simple. Like, I just didn't make the cut this year. So the 842.5 that I hit at Sheffield wasn't enough to get the spot for the 83s because Russ ended up doing that 86. I think it was 860. It was either 860 or 860. I think it was 860 at Nationals. And so the higher of the two totals wins. And then typically there was one alternate spot that goes. Like Gavin went for the 93s as the alternate. But because Bob and Ashton split weight classes, all of the world spots were taken up. Therefore, I was the alternate, like outside, but not guaranteed in. And I just didn't make it. So I just got total more next year.
Are membership prices changing? Are they staying the same for current members?
Okay, so the gym, I've been getting this a lot. When it comes to the membership prices, the answer is I don't know yet. If I'm being honest with you, there's probably a very good likelihood that they will be going up. Will it be like $30, $40, $50, $60? No. If anything, it might be like $5, $10 or something like that. We want to keep it nominal, but also with the new space, it's more space, more equipment, better bathrooms, like the whole 9 yards. And so just the cost of real estate in the whole 9 yards, everything is going up, but we're trying to find the best break-even point between not charging too much more than what we're already doing now, but also making sure that, keep the lights on with the move. So the true answer is to be determined on that. I will make a separate full announcement video on the Mount Vernon Instagram page once we do make a decision. Membership prices staying the same, not whatever. But if they do, there's not going to be anything crazy. It's still probably going to be underneath 99% of powerlifting gyms out there.
What does it take to be a CFO, parentheses, as a finance graduate right out of college, close parentheses?
Oh, cool. So context, right? There's a ton of different CFOs, right? You have in-house CFOs that are only working in one specific company. They have a W-2 job through. That is not what I do. So I do fractal CFO work and business consulting work. And really, it's just having the expertise and the know-how to solve a need, right? I have a team of people around me, so I do not do the bookkeeping, the accounting work, or filing work myself. I'm more on the business consulting side of the CFO work. And really, as a finance graduate outside, I would find my niche and my space where I want to go, whether that be, in the wirehouses, your JP Morgans, your Merrill Lynch's, whether that be on the insurance side, your MetLife's, your Mass Mutuals, your Guardians, whether that be RIA space, independent. And then as you just build up that repertoire and really focus in on working with business owners and figuring out what they need, you can essentially kind of outsource it and do it yourself. You can roll into a firm that's already doing that and learn through there. There's 1,000 different ways to skin a cat, but really at the end of the day, it just comes down to having the expertise needed to solve a problem. With the outsourced CFO, right, the basic low-hanging fruit problems you need to be able to solve are taking care of people's bookkeeping, tax work, and then how can you use that data to push their business forward or give them the tools that they need to push their business forward.
Question, grand opening for your new gym?
Yeah, so grand opening, the actual opening and the grand opening are likely at this point going to be two different things. The gym, we're earmarking at this point to be open sometime in November based on the HVAC being delayed, other things along that nature. As for the grand opening, there's a ton of people that I want to get out there. I would love for it to be just a great grand opening. I'm trying to get a ton. I'm trying to call in every favor I have and just be like, hey, come through and make it super special. So the grand opening might be significantly after the actual opening of it. It really just depends on where everything times up, because I'm trying to get some people that actually are competing at Sheffield in it, the whole 9 yards. And so it really just comes down to what can we feasibly do on top of everybody's time schedule in terms of who we also want to try to get down there, the Russes, the Jesuses, the Mandalorenses, the Bobs, the Ashtons, and all the other lifters, the Perks, all the other lifters that I respect that would be gracious enough to come out.
How did you buy a gym?
Yeah, so really simple, because I know this is context. I know the video, like, hey, I got tired of paying for a gym membership, I bought the place. You know, it's a great tagline, and it leaves a lot for the imagination. So really, Troy and Chris and the team and everybody there that's, you know, kind of behind the scenes, but really Troy, 2 years ago came up to me with the opportunity of potentially being a part of the MVB expansion, move and expansion within Mount Vernon. The building itself is getting bought, and so that would push the move. Also context, right, for some of the people that are like, hey, guys, like, why isn't the bathroom fixed now? Why aren't the floors being done this? Why isn't this being happening? To give you guys context, the building that we're in currently is getting bought, torn down for housing. And so, and this is before me being a part of it, but I'm just giving you context. And so the cost of doing certain things like fixing flooring or certain restroom problems or certain pieces in the back or HVAC or whatever the case may be, to do something like that and then potentially be moving in 3, 6, 5, 10, 12 months, it's an ROR negative. And so executive business decisions just had to be made in terms of, hey, keeping it functional enough until we can put our all into the new space, opposed to dropping 10, 15, 20, 30, 50,000 plus dollars into certain pieces that will then essentially go to waste, you know, 6 months later. But to then circle back and tell you how I got into that, he offered me the opportunity to buy in. So I'm a co-owner, part owner. Don't want to, you know, make it seem like it's more than it is, which is exactly what I would love to be. I never wanted to be a full gym owner that owns the whole thing, because there's too many different projects and other pieces that I'm working on. And so, hey, put some money down, have some expertise and something to also bring to the table to push the business forward. And I was blessed with the opportunity that they thought I was somebody that was worth partnering with on that, and I'm super blessed about it and excited, man. I'm really excited.
Equipment you're most excited about?
So a piece of equipment that as a powerlifter, I am most excited about the Alico combo racks that we are working on getting. Me training at the IPF. In the IPF, I go to Impact Zone because they have the Alico racks. Impact Zone is a great gym, by the way. Like, shout out to them. I love them over there. But it is a farther drive. It's in Jersey. I live in New York. And so to be able to have an Alico rack in my home gym and train to standard every single day that I walk in there is super important for me. Also, there are very few gyms that have Alico racks in New York. I think the only one is Squats and Signs, and for some people that's a hike. And so I'm super excited because I think it's going to bring a lot of new members in there that are really trying to take their powerlifting journey to the next level. So I'm super excited about that. And then there are a couple of just like ancillary things that I'm excited about. I'm excited for the powerlifting wall. I'm excited for some things that I'm trying to do with the ceilings, but I'm going to leave that for one of the other videos while we're still getting it going. But I'd say the Alico racks for sure.
Would you have meets at the new place?
Absolutely. So we're absolutely going to have meets there. I'm going to try to figure that out. As my goal, as we start to get everything put together, is to reach out to Powerlifting America and try to have MVB be like the premier spot for meets in New York, and really give people a gateway to get to nationals, get to worlds, run the gauntlet, get to Sheffield, do what they want to do, and be able to, you know, get busy. So yeah, I definitely plan on doing meets there. The only bottleneck will be my ability to host the meet. I would partner with somebody that would do a majority of the hosting, because planning a meet myself is not something I want to do. I know what I want to do, I know what I'm good at, that's not one of them. So if we find the right partner that can essentially take it from A to Z and just, you know, kind of give the space, we're gonna run it.
Will you quit your current job for the new project?
Will I quit my current job for the gym opening? Will I quit my current job to open the gym? And the answer is absolutely no. I've been a part of helping people open, build, and run gyms in my actual work. The thing that I dislike the most about gyms is that there is definitely a bottleneck on your income potential on it. It can be time intensive, labor intensive at times. I don't love the gym enough for it to be everything for me, right? I'm very, very, very adamant about being a businessman that happens to be just great at powerlifting in my own way, not a powerlifter that happens to do some other things on the side. I think I get a lot of that from my dad as well, right? You know, he was very big on me not just seeing myself as an athlete, especially as a young black male, And so I take that extremely seriously. And so I would never throw away my career, what I'm trying to build on the business side, just for the gym. This is kind of more of a side project, more than a side project, but for lack of a better term, I'm going to say side project that I think ROR makes sense, and how much I'm in the gym makes sense, and for my role within this space is very much so, will very much so compensate me for my time. But it's not something that I want to make my entire life, my entire career. We fast forward 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, who knows, whatever the case may be. But there's a lot of things that I want to do on the business side that I'm extremely passionate about, that I want to accomplish and do.
Last question. How do you handle giving yourself the grace to rest when all you want to do is be the best?
Yeah, so when to pull back. Like when I hear hey, how do you give yourself grace to actually rest when you want to be great at, I'm assuming powerlifting, but it could be business, could be whatever. And I think that the underlying answer to that is that rest is mandatory in order to be great, right? So if you truly want to be great, you need to know when to pull back, when to go all in, when to step to the left, to the right, when to pause, when to slow down. I equate it to playing football, right? I played running back, inside zone, right? When they start the play, it's not just full steam ahead straight to the A gap, right? You play it inside zone by taking your time to the hole, slow to, fast through, so that you can force the safeties, you can force the linebackers to make a move into a hole that you're not going to. And so by taking your time, it then allows you to wait for the hole to open up, and then you hit it full speed ahead. And so I think the same concept goes to powerlifting, to life, to whatever. You cannot give your all to something if your cup is only a quarter full, half full, right? And so if it requires you to be 100% in terms of energy, in terms of stamina, in terms of focus, and you can't do that if you haven't rested, whether it be sleep, whether it be nutrition, whether it be pulling back on training and not going RPE 9 and going 6, then by default, if you want to be great at, we'll use powerlifting for example, then you must then take that rest. It's mandatory. It's not great. You're not giving yourself grace. You are putting yourself in the optimal position to be the best. And so I think it's reframing that. In business, right? I know people talk a lot about going 24 hours, no sleep till you die. And that advice is usually given because most people are lazy, and most people won't even get out of bed. And so in order to counteract that, you have to go to the other extreme and say you have to work every single waking second of your life in hopes of dragging the person that will barely get out of bed just to go to their job to then do something, right? And meet in the middle. And so, you see the extremes on social media, and that's more so motivation to get somebody to get halfway there or a quarter way there and to do something. And sometimes for those that do have that work ethic and that drive, we misconstrued it as the only way that I'm getting better is to drive myself into the ground. And if you do drive yourself into the ground, you are no longer physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually in the position to be great because you have depleted yourself of everything that is necessary to be great. That goes for business, that goes for finance, that goes for relationships, that goes for powerlifting, that goes for everything. And so I think it's reframing that question from how do I give myself grace for resting to, rest and to slow down and to pull back is mandatory for me to be great. So if I want to be great, I must take that breather and slow down. I'll leave you with this last, saying or this last, visual. An archer, right? An archer doesn't just pull the bow back real quick, this far and let it go and think it's gonna hit the target or go anywhere, right? An archer pulls the bow back as far as he possibly can to get the most tension, because we know by pulling back, is going to put ourselves in the best position to then spring ourselves forward. And so again, rest is that pull back, that tension that you need to be at the proper position, the proper place, the proper strength, the proper mental fortitude that you need to be to then launch yourself forward and hit the target at the distance where you want to go. So the farther you want to go, the more you need to pull back and be patient to then have the power to take advantage of that whole opening up and that opportunity. So I think it's just a reframing of the question. It's not giving yourself grace, it's mandatory. You don't have a choice.